everybody, and welcome to the Honey Jar Series. The Group C machines heading out once more here on SimRacingOnline.co.uk. We're here for round number 2 of the series, running at Goodwood this week. Qualifying has just got underway, a few minutes late, but that is because of a server issue which has now been rectified, and we are all good to go here in the session. We've got some lap time starting to be placed in with drivers out laps. We've got Gutierrez out on circuit, Finotti, Postma, Van der Geest. So many cars heading out this week once more then. And we've got a number of drivers actually with those weight penalties bringing across from the race 1 results. Pablo Finotti will be racing with 30 kilos on board. Bobby Volkanov will be racing with 20 kilos, and David Ricciardi will be racing with 10 kilos. And yes, that is because of the championship standings, with Finotti at the top of that then, because of his win at the opening round. Let's see how well he can do this week. Finotti is out on circuit right now. His outlap placing him in 4th, but of course that's just an outlap. He can go faster during his actual time lap. We're watching Carl Stieg right now heading up into the final chicane. Can be rather tricky, that final chicane, definitely on the opening laps. And it's going to be very interesting, the rolling start out of that final turn. And I think we may see an incident through there, because you got to remember, it's the last time out we saw an incident at Riverside through the final turn. Now that is a very wide final turn. It's a long right-hander, yet we still saw an incident. So I think we are going to see some sort of issue out on track on that formation lap. Watching Nigel Middleton here in the 99s. He actually runs off the circuit. Let's go and see if we can find race 1 winner. Here he is, Pablo Finotti. So he'll be running with 30 kilos of ballast on board his machine. If I can go and find the right page here. Yeah, so Pablo Finotti will be running with the 30 kilos, which is the heaviest machine out there then, after the opening round. Finotti going through the final chicane. Where is he going to be able to place himself on the time? Doesn't look like this is a very strong lap for him as he comes across the line. Not a strong lap at all. Let's see what he can do here. We're going to ride on board with him as he heads on through. 107.7 is our fastest. That's by John Van der Geest right now at the top of your timing. 107.7. Bearing in mind the next fastest at the moment is Carl Stieg with a 109.4. Van der Geest was showing that he was an extremely fast driver last time out at Riverside, but unfortunately he was caught up on that formation lap accident, which meant that he had to pit on the first lap of the race, and he fell down completely down the order. Let's see if he's able to recover here at round number 2 and start to clamber his way up the point scoring board. Currently he sits in 4th in the championship. He was able to cover really well last time out. He sits in 4th with 30 points, and that is 10 points behind this man here, Pablo Finotti. Both of them racing for gear. This goes through the final chicane up towards the timing line. What will this be for Pablo Finotti? It places him into 2nd, half a second behind John Van der Geest off of that lap. So he's the only man within a second now of his teammate at the top of the timing right now. It was a personal best in the first and second sector, an overall best in the final sector. So a very nice lap indeed for him. We're watching Dennis Ashenko here. Goodwood, you haven't really got much room to make a mistake here. If you have contact, you've got barriers one end, which is going to almost certainly damage your car. You've then got a field of hay the other end. And I believe here at Goodwood, you can actually go through that. So you're just going to get lost and lose a lot of time as you try to hunt your way back onto the circuit. Right now we've got Talvitti, a new driver tonight. He sits in 3rd right now in this qualifying session in the Mazda. As once again, all of those colours displaying the same. I'll change that up for you. so that the colours are grouped by brand and we can separate all of the different cars for you. The top three, all different machines and manufacturers, are Porsche, a Mercedes, and then a Mazda. That is Van der Geest, Finotti, and then Talvitti. Talvitti, the work of the devil in third place right now. He is 0.666 seconds off of Van der Geest's time. He is just under 0.2 of a second off of Finotti's time, if he's able to improve on that. Looking at the moment, 10 lap times right now in the session. So come up towards the final chicane. Is Van der Geest at the top of the timing right now? That is a car wide and off the track through the final turn, and he's going to hunt his way into the pit lane, find his way down pit lane. I believe that was Denis Assenko who ran off the track there. As we are going to go have a little look at the man at the rear of your field right now, Rob Milliken. A personal best, a lap for him just there, a 1:36.3. Not a strong lap at all, though. He is still 28 seconds off of Van der Geest and about 19 seconds off of the next car, Assenko. So Milliken not doing a very good lap time right now. Neither is Gutierrez. I don't think Assenko's putting a lap time that's representative either. But it is very close right now for 4th and 5th. Carl Stieg and Roel Postma, they are separated by just 0.014 seconds as Rob Milliken runs off the track there. That's not what we want to see. We're going to hunt across though. We've found Jean Van der Geest. He sits at the top of the timing right now. Let's see if he's able to recover from last event running where he did finish in 4th after being taken out in that opening lap incident. He had to pit twice in the opening round, whereas you really only need to pit once without any issues. Let's see what he's able to do here, currently at the top of the timing. I think this may be possible to convert to a race win. Rolling start at the front of the grid. He's not on the second row like he was in the opening round. I believe he qualified 3rd in the opening round. If I can just find it here. John Van der Geest, yes, he qualified 3rd in the opening round as he heads around and facing the wrong way. So he started from the second row of the grid at Riverside. He's going to be starting from the front row by the look of it here at Goodwood. That will really help him, and hopefully we'll see him at the top going out of the final chicane. Like I said, this is going to be a very interesting rolling start because you have got to think that is a very tight final chicane that these drivers are going to have to work their way through and get the green with them as well as Larry Thomas heads around. Right now, Thomas sitting in 5th position in session, a 10th of a second behind Stieg, who has just improved on his lap and will be able to pull away a little bit. Stieg in the opening round of the championship, finishing in 13th position. I believe that was with a retirement for him after qualifying in 7th. So he didn't get the greatest to start. Thomas, he finished in 11th in that opening round. As Postma places himself into 4th there as Middleton also improves on his lap. But Postma, a very nice lap for the newbie driver. 2 cars are off though on the start finish straight. That has caused Stieg to go completely on, or was that? No, that was Thomas to go completely on through turn number 1 as he had to hop to the grass to get out of the way. He stays on track though. He doesn't jump back down a pit lane. He's not going to strap on a new set of boots. He's not going to empty his fuel or anything. He's going to continue running the way he is. 4 minutes left on the clock right now. As Larry Thomas continues on, we're going to go have a little look at your session leader. It's John Van der Geest in the number 7. Coming up to the final chicane. He is leading this qualifying session with a provisional pole at the moment, a 1:07.706. Will he be able to hold that? He crosses the line. 3.5 minutes to go in this session. As he comes around and heading now. This track primarily turning right. That's basically what it is. There's a few elevation changes, but most of this track it's just turning right. There are a couple of left-handers such as up here, but it reminds me very much so of Thruxton as both of them, as most circuits are in the UK, based on a former airfield from the war. That is what most racing circuits in the UK are built on. As John van der Geest continuing around here at the top of your timing. That was an improvement for Talvitti, though. He's placed himself into second position in the session. That is a gap now of just 0.064 seconds between Tony Talvitti and Pablo Finotti, as we've got 2.5 minutes left in this qualifying session right now. Will Talvitti be able to continue improving on this lap? He is on a personal best in the first sector. What about the second sector here? 26 flat in the opening one and 18.7, rather slow in the middle sector, bearing in mind John van der Geest has been able to get an 18.3, and that's not even his personal best on his time last lap. But here comes Tony Talvitti in through the final chicane. Very nice place to be sitting in second right now, and any gap that he can pull over Finotti, I think he'll be happy with. And that is actually indeed the fastest lap. I did not expect that, and you can see why it's so close between Tony Talvitti and John van der Geest. It is less than 1/10 of a second between the two of them there as Talvitti crosses the line. Will van der Geest be able to improve on that? He's going to be hoping so. I mean, at the moment, he's still got the front row of the grid locked out. He's going to be in that the front row no matter what. But it's going to be the question of, will he be the man dictating when they go green? Yes, he is. A fantastic improvement by John van der Geest there to the top of qualifying by almost a second over Talvitti. That was a great improvement on that lap as John van der Geest runs slightly wide, and he's going to let that time soak in with only a minute left in qualifying. He's not going to get another attempt. Talvitti is, though. Will he be able to improve? That is no, he's wide out the final turn. That's not only going to hinder that lap, it's going to hinder his next one. He pulls into the pit. And that is it. Talvitti will be starting from second unless one of the drivers behind is able to improve. We watch Pablo Finotti right now. With 30 seconds left to go in qualifying, the drivers coming up towards the timing line. They'll all be going on to the final laps of the qualifying session. Pablo Finotti, a personal best in the first sector. What about the middle sector? It's over 1.5 seconds off of John van der Geest. That's just extremely slow, which is a real shame. This lap won't be an improvement, and by the look of it, he's not going to get another one in either with just 3 seconds left on the clock. He won't. That's the checkered flag there. That means Finotti's going to come across the line, and he will be starting the race in third. As we've got Thomas just coming across the line there. Ashenko is, I think, the last man who's going to come across the line in this qualifying session. But that is the grid pretty much decided for you. It's going to be John van der Geest from the front row and the front of the grid. It's going to be Tony Talvitti from second position. We'll be getting across into the hour-long race in a moment's time here, as we're just waiting for Denis Ashenko to finish his lap during this qualifying session. Up towards the final chicane now goes Ashenko. There he goes, past the camera and goes across the timing line as qualifying comes to a close. We're just waiting for the cars to get down on the grid here then at Goodwood for round number 2 of the Group C Honey Jar Series, brought to you by SimRacingOnline.co.uk, broadcasted by Alternative Streaming Network. I'm Joseph Wright. John van der Geest will be starting this race from pole position. Tony Talvitti will be starting in P number 2. And we're going to talk you through the rest of your grid once the formation lap gets underway. The drivers, very close grid here, but of course they're going to be able to settle out. As you can see, the front row is actually 3 wide. That's That's one of the reasons we're going for a formation lap. It's way too close to do a proper good start here in this Group C event. As we're just waiting now for the lights to come up, the drivers can get going, and the formation lap will be underway in preparation for the start of the 1 hour long race. 60 minutes on the clock as these drivers are going to start to head their way around the track. The lights starting to count up. We've been thrown to pit lane so we can find our way onto the track now. The hour is away, but this is a formation lap, remember. As drivers get away from the start, we're going to find our way to race leader John van der Geest. There you go, drivers starting to come out of the first turn. We're going to walk you through your grid then for the start of the race here at Goodwood. As the 60 minutes is starting to count down, it does count into the formation lap. So John van der Geest will be starting from pole position, Talvitti from second. The round 1 winner, Pablo Finotti, with 30 kilos of ballast on board, will be starting in P number 2. Roll Postma will be starting P4, Larry Thomas P5, Denis Shashenko in 6th, Nigel Middleton in 7th, Johnny Gutierrez 8th, and Rob Milliken 9th. We do not see either of the drivers who finished 2nd or 3rd in the opening round out on track. That means that Pablo Finotti is the only man out here at Goodwood with ballast on board. That's 30 kilograms of ballast. As the drivers head around the back end of the circuit, they'll be heading up towards the final few turns shortly, and they'll start to get themselves ready for the start of this race. Van der Geest hoping to stay out of issues that he had at the opening round. It caused him to pit after lap number 1. Carl Stieg has rejoined the server here at the start of the race. He will be starting from pit lane, and he will be a lap down from the start. And here they go, coming across the line now. Van der Geest gets away from Poland. Really nice start out of the final turn. Talvitti trying to hold off from Finotti off that start, but a really good run from Van der Geest, and he's made his way away from the rest of the field. Denis Shashenko slightly wide, Nigel Middleton wide in the background as well, but a good start there from Van der Geest. Gutierrez makes his way past Middleton out of turn number 1 after Middleton's mistake. Van der Geest, Talvitti, about half a second between them right now. Round 1 winner Finotti holding suit in 3rd with that ballast, but he seems to be comfortable there ahead of Postma and Thomas. As we're going to come around and finish lap number 1, I'm yet to see Carl Stieg come out onto the track. He has rejoined. In fact, it looks like he may have disconnected once more, which is a real shame. I cannot see his name on the left-hand side. I don't think Stieg has started the race. As we come through up towards the final chicane, it's Van der Geest going to be leading off of the opening lap in this race. Talvitti is going to be in 2nd, Finotti in 3rd, Postma 4th. But look at this, Talvitti is all over the rear of Van der Geest, looks to the inside, heading up towards turn number 1 as Talvitti was the fastest man on the opening lap of this race. As they all head on down in this 2nd lap now, Talvitti less than half a second behind Van der Geest. He knows he's got the opportunity, but when is he going to go for it? He pushes wide, he catches the grass, he's going to have to sort himself out. He backs out of it, he allows it. Carl Stieg is onto the track. He is 2 laps down, but he is out on track in his number 47 machine, so it's great to see that even though he wasn't able to make the start, he is going to be on the track today. As we've got Talvitti has dropped off by a second now on Van der Geest, and in fact Finotti is closer to Talvitti than Talvitti is to Van der Geest now, and Van der Geest, Finotti, both of them teammates. They could be working together at some point during this race to maybe try and get them first and second position in this race. I'm not too sure if they'll do that. Johnny Gutierrez in 7th is all over the rear of Denis Shevchenko. We might see an overtake attempt here as they sit about half a second apart. Gutierrez a second faster on the previous lap than Shevchenko as they head out of turn number 1. It's 1 second between Van der Geest and Talvitti right now. I think that's going to get closer again, but it's going to be dependent on whether Van der Geest can get into a rhythm. He found a rhythm after his pit stop, his opening lap pit stop at Riverside. Will he find a rhythm here? And it looks like he's starting to pull that gap on Talvitti. It looks like he may have found his rhythm very early on here. And very early on indeed, only 5 minutes into this event right now. We've still got 54 minutes on the clock, and we are looking at Gutierrez. He's dropped off of Shevchenko ever so slightly as he's trying to push on to get into P6. Shevchenko in turn is only about a second off of Thomas, but look at that, up towards the final turn. Gutierrez really tried to get alongside Shevchenko. It's never going to work into that final chicane though. Gutierrez is all over the rear of Denis Shevchenko right now. They head into turn 1. Milliken in the background as he's about 10 seconds behind this fight as he was only just coming through the chicane as these guys are heading through turn 1. Gutierrez tries to get to the right hand side of the track, just cannot do it. To the left-hand side now, catching the grass ever so slightly. Gutierrez is pushing as hard as he possibly can behind Denis Shevchenko right now for 6th position in this race. Just going to quickly have a look at previous race results. Denis Shevchenko finished 7th in the opening round. Gutierrez finished 6th in the opening round. So these two were fighting each other at Riverside as well. It was just the opposite way. This time is Shevchenko ahead of Gutierrez. Gutierrez trying to hunt his way down. Van der Geest is really into a rhythm now. He's pulled a 2-second lead over Talvitti right now. Finotti is just dropping down, and I don't know whether that's because he's not in as much of a rhythm here at Goodwood as he was at Riverside, or whether it's because he just isn't used to the 30 kilograms of ballast. I cannot believe it's making that much of an effect though, that Roel Posner is only a second behind. Posner not racing at Riverside, so he is looking to get a strong start to his opening round in the championship here at round 2. Will he be able to do it? I'm not too sure, and Shevchenko's made a mistake. I wonder how Gutierrez was going to make his way through Denis Shevchenko. Shevchenko's put it wide at turn 1, and by the look of it, he's also hit a tyre barrier on the outside. The front end of that car is heavily damaged as he's found his way back onto the track here, and we'll head around. In fact, we've lost Johnny Gutierrez in the hay. Here he comes. He's going to find his way back on track as he reappears. But Gutierrez, I said that it was going to end up in the wall, or you were going to end up on the inside of that track trying to find your way back on. Shevchenko and Gutierrez have done both of those on just the one lap as John Van der Geest pulls away in the lead right now. It's almost 10 minutes into this event. A nice, strong start in comparison to his start at Riverside, where he was taken out and had that accident. Our pole sitter, Pablo Finotti, did win the opening round. Will we see the pole sitter win yet again? I think we will. I think we will see John Van der Geest convert that pole into a win, as Shevchenko has made his way down pit lane following that accident. He's in the background there. We go back to watching the leading two. They've pulled their way quite nicely ahead of Finotti, actually. Finotti has dropped down quite far. At the same time, though, Finotti has pulled some sort of gap over Posner, who is almost under attack from Larry Thomas here in 4th and 5th position. As they head through and head up towards the final chicane, it's great to see that Karstieg is still kicking in 10th position. He finished 13th with a retirement in the opening round. He is continuing to fight here though at round 2, and is going to be trying his absolute hardest to gain any position that he can. Assetto has fallen a lap down, but is back out on track. But that means there is now only a gap between a lap between Assetto and Steve. And I'm thinking we may see Steve start to climb up this order once more drivers start making mistakes, whenever that may be in this race. It is a 50-minute race. We saw pit stops being needed at Riverside. Will we see pit stops here? I'm thinking we will, because we did see it at Riverside in the opening round, but at the same time, I'm thinking that the drivers, they'll be off the throttle less than they were. Riverside is a little bit of a longer track. You're on throttle for so long as the straights and the final turn. This time you're off of it a little bit. Who is that off the track? That is... I'm not too sure who went off the track there. I thought it was one of your leaders. It was not. By the looks of it, it was Roll Postma who went off the track. It's allowed Larry Thomas into P number 4 now. It's 10 minutes into this race. Van der Gies is leading the way, as Gutierrez has also run off going up towards that final chicane. A couple of cars making mistakes through that final chicane now, or at least the turn before it. They just seem to be kicking out the rear end just a bit too much, not being able to grip it. And wide goes Gutierrez. He hits the wall and joins what his rival Assetto did just a few laps ago, which then distracted Gutierrez or something. It placed him onto the infield and in the middle of all the hay and straw, whatever's on the inside of this track. As Roll Postma is trying to recover from his mistake last lap. We'll be trying to close back up to Larry Thomas. We may see a battle going on here. They're the only cars within a second of another guy. As Thomas runs it slightly wide, that's really going to put to advantage of Roll Postma. They're going to be side by side into the final chicane. There is contact into the final chicane. Postma tried the inside of Larry Thomas. That was never going to work. Postma is back straight again and running. Larry Thomas, however, is not, and is at a stop right now out of the final chicane, trying to get his way back around, and that's Milliken off as he pushes a bit too hard through the final chicane, maybe distracted by the yellow flags brought out by Larry Thomas. Thomas now back going straight again, but he has lost God knows how much time with that. Let's see, actually. Postma is about 20 seconds up the way now. So he's lost over 20 seconds because Postma lost about 10. So he's lost about 30 seconds in that incident. He's finally found his way back going straight again, but down in P7. Only Middleton behind him on the lead lap still. Assetto and Steve, both of them have fallen off of the lead lap. Gutierrez, he's back running again. He is behind Milliken, however, so he might be trying to push to try and get past Rob Milliken. Go for a top 5, as that is Postma off and around after the contact with Thomas. He finds himself the wrong way. Thomas now goes through and will probably be happy to see Postma fall down into P7. As another car flies on through. I think that is Nigel Middleton. It is Middleton. Has now got the opportunity to get past Postma, and I think we might see that, and I think that might be the race leader behind them. It is John Van der Gies behind 8th and 7th on circuit. So Van der Gies is doing a fantastic job to push as hard as he is. Into the final chicane goes the race leader, then he's got an 8-second gap over the rest of the field right now. And he is going to find his way past Middleton and Postma, who are going to fall a lap down in this race and follow Assetto on that lap down. 10 laps currently completed by Van der Gies as Milliken runs off the track. Through goes Gutierrez for 4th position. Nice and easy move there from Gutierrez. I think this track, it's very tight, it's much tighter than we saw at Riverside. I think that first opening sector at Riverside was very tricky, but this entire track seems to be putting a lot of pressure on these drivers. It looks like Postman's made another mistake or something there. I'm not too sure, but he's allowed Van der Gies through, but with it, he's also allowed Nigel Middleton through. as they come up the middle part of the lap. I'm having some issues here with my game. Hopefully they'll sort themselves out. Yes, it does. As Middleton, Postma still very close together here in 7th and 8th position. In fact, Postma is all over the rear as they head out of the final turn. Will he try something up towards turn 1? He looks to the right-hand side of the track, looks to the inside, can't do anything. Is he going to push wide? He does a little bit of a wobble on the exit as well. Middleton has now pulled quite a nice gap over Postma. Postma is not able to keep it together. He had a nice start to this event, but it doesn't look like he's going to continue on through. Larry Thomas will be the next man to fall a lap down, but when will that happen? He's trying to chase down Rob Milliken. Milliken recently giving up the position to Gutierrez as he ran wide. About 1.5 seconds between Milliken and Thomas right now. 5th and 6th position heading up through the penultimate turn and up towards that final chicane, which I think is a very dangerous chicane, very tight. We've got walls on the inside and outside. That's Milliken off again, and it looks like a big hit onto the outside wall. He finds his way back onto the track. Doesn't look like it's caused too many issues, though, because he doesn't decide to come down pit lane. Really, now is when you can come down pit lane and make it that one-stop strategy. We did see that attempt last time out by Finotti, and I think it was Finotti who did pit early, and it did work because he went on to win the race. But will we see another strategy like that today, or will we even see pit stops at all? Depending on how long these cars can run. They ran about, I think the max we saw them run was about 50 minutes last time out at Riverside. I'm thinking actually with the amount that they're off the throttle compared to Riverside, we might be able to go 55 minutes to the full hour. We may actually see this without any pit stops, which will be interesting, and will be interesting to see if anyone decides to come down pit lane. Of course, Shenko's already visited pit lane, but that was for damage, so, and not for an actual fuel or tyre stop. It wasn't a scheduled pit stop at all. Through the penultimate turn, Nigel Middleton all over the rear of Rob Milliken. Milliken runs off the track. Through goes Middleton, up the position now into 6th. Milliken down to 7th. And I think that is Postma just behind all over the rear. It was. Roll Postma makes his way through. Rob Milliken just not defending that at all. And that is 2nd position, Tony Talvitti, just behind the yellow. The blue flags will be out now. Talvitti moves to the right-hand side of Milliken, nice and easily making his way through in the 55 machine. Next, he's got to get past Postma, and then there's Middleton just up the road as well, heading on to the slow left-hander. This track can really catch you out. It feels like you should be fast everywhere, but you just can't. You have to slow it down through a number of these turns, and that's why we've seen so many cars run wide. As you just see Milliken run wide in the background there. I think that's actually damage for Milliken. I don't think that's Milliken just making mistakes everywhere. I think there may be some damage on his car, and he might want to visit pit lane, otherwise he's going to be losing more time by running wide all the time. Thomas now pulls the lap down in 5th, and the next car to do so will be Gutierrez, and that's not going to be long either, so I think it's soon going to be only the top 3 on the leading lap. As we continue to watch this fight here, as we watched how Vitti makes his way through here, we actually saw a position change between Postma and Middleton. Postma is now up, Middleton down to 7. As we continue to watch Tarvitti not wanting to get involved in this battle here. Blue flag out, he's on the outside line. Postma allows him through, but Postma straight away tries to get back onto the racing line to defend from Nigel Middleton. He's done that very nicely at the moment, and he will hold on to his position in P6. Tarvitti's lost a little bit of time within that battle, but I don't think he's lost too much. And I don't think he would have lost any more than he would have done even if he hadn't been in that battle. Van der Geest is just completely in a rhythm, and if there aren't any pit stops needed in this race, like I said, I'm just not too sure right now. If these drivers don't have to pit, I think we'll see Van der Geest go to a nice comfortable win, as he's lapped most of the field right now. He's got Gutierrez next, and that's he's about 7-8 seconds up the way. bearing in mind his personal best is a 107, and Gutierrez's personal best is a 109. Very different between the two of them, so I think it's going to be very easy for Van der Geest to catch up to Gutierrez within the next couple of laps, within the next few minutes. As we're already 20 minutes into this run, we're already 1/3 of the way through, and there you go, Gutierrez has fallen a lap down, a lot earlier than I was expecting. I think he's ran off the circuit. It looks like some damage to the front end of that machine. Van der Geest is just a man on a mission right now in the lead here. Just absolutely pushing it as hard as he possibly can. Middleton all over the rear of Postma here to the right-hand side. Through he goes, up the position into P6. A nice overtake on the inside line. Postma down to P7 there. As they continue on. Very close this battle, 6th and 7th right now. Nigel Middleton leading Rahul Poster in Postma in 6th and 7th position. Through the final chicane they go. A little bit of a gap opening up between them. Now at Riverside, when we saw most drivers come down, was halfway through the race, so half an hour. If we're going to see pit stops happen tonight, we will see at least 2 or 3 cars come down at that point. If we only see one car come down halfway through this race, not everyone will be pitting, and I think it's going to be whether you can save your fuel enough come the end of this race. Because like I said, definitely Van der Geest was able to push that car very far, albeit he did pit quite early on and then pit again near the end, but he still was able to push it for about 45 to 50 minutes. At a circuit that had so many fast straights and fast corners, the fuel you're burning is so much more than you're burning here at Goodwood. So, like I said, it's going to be dependent on how much these drivers can save the fuel, and I don't think Van der Geest is really caring about saving fuel right now as he leads the way. But it just depends on how much you're burning. That depends on what that strategy call is going to be. Benotti doing a good job holding on to 3rd right now. He did win the opening race. Finishing 3rd now will keep him ahead of Van der Geest in the championship, because Van der Geest finished 4th in the opening round. So it will place Benotti just ahead of Van der Geest, but those two will be at the top of your championship come the end of this race weekend. It's just going to be what order. If Benotti falls down to P4, they will be drawing if Van der Geest wins. If Benotti falls any further down than P4, so P5 or below, Van der Geest will be leading. If Benotti is able to hold on to P3, he will be leading the championship out of round number 2. But Van der Geest, like I said, he did a fantastic job last time out in that recovery, and it's just showing he does have the pace to win the championship here, as he's leading the way with a 107.6 lap time across the line. It's slightly slower than his personal best, but he is the fastest man out on track, and he's showing it. So fast right now. Well, Postma, I do apologise. Postma trying to chase down 2 cars in front of him. One is Nigel Middleton, the other is Larry Thomas. Because Thomas has just made a mistake heading up to that final chicane, which has mean that he is now subject to a battle with Nigel Middleton. Middleton all over the rear, might try and look for a way through. He moves to the right-hand side of the circuit. Thomas just trying to hold the racing line. He does so nicely. Middleton piling on the pressure. He moves to the right-hand side again as they come through. Oh, Middleton almost wide and almost off the track. Keeps it on though. He's lost a little bit of time with it, but he kept it on the track. Very nicely done indeed as we watch this fight. Thomas leading Middleton, leading Postma. We're going to ride on board Postma actually. You can see the 2 cars in front of him. It's a little bit of a ways from him, about a second between himself and the 2 cars ahead. But him seeing that fight, he'll know he can catch up to it. He knows he can be a part of it, and that is for a top 5 position, which will be a great start for Postma in his first race of the championship. Talvitti, in his first race of the championship, doing a fantastic job in second. Postma not having a great final chicane there, you see, steering a little bit more than he probably would have hoped for. On board with Nigel Middleton right now. He sits in 6th position in this race, chasing down Larry Thomas for P 5. We're almost halfway through this event. Van der Gies leading the way over Talviti. Vinotti in third. Van der Gies has lapped everyone apart from the podium right now, and I think that will change come the end. Thomas runs wide. Thomas is off the circuit. This is going to allow Postma through as well. Nigel Middleton up to P5. Roll Postma up to P6. Larry Thomas down to P7. We see Carl Stieg down pit lane. He was 2 laps down. Will we see his car moving once more? I think we will in a moment's time. It looks like Pablo Finotti has made a little bit of a mistake at the top end of the circuit in his Mercedes C9. He is the only driver racing in the Mercedes tonight. The rest of them in Porsches and Mazdas. In fact, we've got 4 Porsches, 4 Mazdas. No, 5 Porsches, 4 Mazdas. And then this one Mercedes C9 driven by Finotti. Won the opening race. He's got a full load of ballast on board. 30 kilos, the max you can get out of the opening round. 120 kilos is the heaviest these cars are allowed to be come the end of the season. It's going to be who is going to get all that weight ballast. After this round, it looks like most of it's going to go to Jean Van der Gies. Pablo Finotti will still be your heaviest car with 40 kilos if he finishes in third. The waste ballast being applied, 30 kilos for the race winner, 20 kilos for second position, and 10 kilos for third position, with Pablo Finotti winning the opening round. He's got the 30 kilos on board right now. If he finishes third, for the third round of the championship, he will run 40 kilos. Van der Gies, if he wins here tonight, he'll only just be getting some ballast as that as a driver making some heavy mistakes, almost taking out Jean Van der Gies. Denis Shashenko weaving around heavily in front of Van der Gies. Somehow, Van der Gies keeping out of an incident there. Very close as we jumped across to watch Van der Gies. Somehow keeping it without contact, still leading this way. We're almost halfway through as Roll Postma is trying to chase down Nigel Middleton. P6, Jason down P5. This is one of the closest battles on track. About 2.5 seconds between them. We've got Larry Thomas behind as well. Another 2.5 seconds behind that as Van der Gies continues to pull his gap. In half an hour, he has pulled a 15-second lead. I think that'll be nice and comfortable to push to a 30-second lead by the end of this race. Finotti, I think, is going to fall a lap down before the end. The 2 teammates first and third right now. I think, though, that we might see those pit stops. Like I say, it's not 100% certain we'll see everyone down pit lane. We've already seen Ashenko come to a pit stop. That was for damage. We saw Steve come down a couple of laps ago. Of course, he was already 2 laps down after not making the start, so I'm not surprised that he did go for that pit stop under fuel at the start. Just push it as hard as you can, see what you can recover in this event. We did see him take some time to get onto the track after he joined the server, which was during the formation lap, and he did wait a further lap before getting on the track. I think he was setting up some stuff so he could push as hard as he wanted to, and he didn't have to worry about saving any fuel or saving his tyres. He continues around here right now as we're coming up to halfway through round number 2 here in the Group C Honey Jar Series. 8 rounds in this championship. The opening round at Riverside a couple of weeks ago really went well for Pablo Finotti, who currently sits in third position here. We're running here then around to Goodwood in a few weeks' time, July the 7th. We will be going to Bikerniki High Speed Ring for round number 3, and then also next month we will be heading across to Interlagos 1975 layout. So we've got 2 amazing events next month. And that will take us to the halfway point of the championship. So we're still a month away until halfway through this championship. These drivers, it is very much the opening of the season. Anything can happen, and that is why you want to get any points you can. Carl Steed, he finished 13th in the opening round. If he can finish 10th here, which is last, but if he can finish 10th here, that'll be an additional 18 points. That'll be a total of 30 points, which will get him past drivers who aren't taking part tonight, such as drone runners, such as Barrett Eriksson and Andrew Harper. It will actually push him quite far up the grid into maybe even the top 7, top 8 position, just by taking part tonight. Doesn't matter if he's not going to be finishing well, as long as he's doing a race, and that's exactly what it is. And he's sitting at the rear end of the field right now, but he's going to be getting those points, 18 points. That's a lot of points to put on the board. Definitely going to get 40 for a race win. Out of the final turn, we see a car down pit lane. It is Postma. So we do see a car down pit lane at the halfway point in this race. That is suggesting to us that drivers will need to make a pit stop in this race. It's not necessary that everyone's going to do it, but I think that most will. If we see a driver come down at the halfway point, it seems to say that Postman out on track once more. Looked like a very quick stop. Didn't look like he changed fuel. Very much so that it was only tyres. He's backing out completely, not going past Postma on the pit exit there. Not too sure why. He slowed down really a lot as Talvitti from P2 makes his way into the pit lane. Van der Geest now makes his way past. Maybe just waiting for a safe location to do it. But I think out of pit lane, Postma was rather slow. But I really do think that Van der Geest could have made that move without any sort of issues. But anyway, he slowed up. Talvitti then still in pit lane for now. Will Finotti take the position off of him? Or will Finotti come down pit lane? Here he is. This looks like stays out on track. Finotti is still stopped in pit lane. It looks like a much longer stop than Postma. Here comes John Van der Geest. This is going to put Talvitti a lap down. Surely, no it won't. Tony Talvitti comes out of the pit lane in P3. Rob Milliken, he was all over the rear end of Denis Shevchenko, and he sends the rear end around. He's going to get back on track now, but that's a lot of time lost. Will he decide to come down into pit lane with that? No, he remains out on track. So right now, we've only seen Postma and Talvitti come down at this halfway point in the race. We've already seen Ashenko and Steed down pit lane. Steed, when he came down pit, that very much so will push him to the end. He only came down about 10 minutes ago. He can go to the end on that pit stop. Ashenko, it's going to be a question. He came in rather early for damage. Whether he's going to need a second stop, just a smash and dash right at the very end. I'm not too sure. We will have to wait and see. I think very possibly he will have to come down again, but at the same time, I'm not thinking that fuel will be burned as much here as it was last time out. So we shall see. Milliken and Ashenko swap around. That is because Ashenko's made a mistake in P9 that sends him off the track. John Van der Geest remains on circuit. Now Van der Geest did push the furthest out of anyone in the opening round. Of course, he did do that pit stop right at the very beginning of the event following the accident. That's why it's surprising he finished in fourth, albeit a lap down. He did finish in fourth, which was great to see. But he did go the longest in a fuel stint out of everyone. He may do that again today. I'm not too sure as a car runs off. Is that Talvitti who ran off? No, it's the car behind. Larry Thomas is off again. Almost into the wheat, the hay, whatever's on the inside of the circuit there. He's going to fall behind Postma down to P7. Ashenko is back down the pits again. I said I didn't think his pit stop would have taken him to the end. It won't. He's down pit again. Maybe for damage. I'm not too sure as we go into the final 26 minutes of this race. We are over halfway through. Van der Geest is leading the way from pole position and yet to come down pit lane. He's got a 54-second lead over second position Finotti, who is also next to pit lane. Talvitti is the highest driver who has visited pit lane. He sits in third and only just ahead of Van der Geest on track. This is where Van der Geest is. That is where Talvitti is. They have got one car between them, but other than that, they are very close on track. Of course, like I said, Van der Geest gets come down the lane. Van der Geest did a really quick stop at Riverside 2 weeks ago. I'm expecting another quick stop from today. Steve did Postman did a very quick stop during his stop. I think that Van der Geest might be able to jump quite a lot on Talvitti, because Talvitti did have a very long pit stop, and he did lose about 45 seconds compared to Postma, who lost about 15 to 20 seconds. Out of the final turn goes John Van der Geest, still on track right now. Kenny Talvitti is only about 4 seconds behind Fanotti. Those two are the closest drivers on track right now in second and third. Fanotti is yet to come down pit lane. Talvitti already done so. 24.5 minutes on the clock to go. Drivers come through. Van der Geest doing a nice job. Will he come down pit lane anytime soon? This time he hasn't got to push like he had to push at Riverside. He can take it easy. He can be lenient on his pit strategies. Milliken makes his way down pit lane now, and Larry Thomas gains that position because of it. Yeah, Van der Geest can be very lenient on his race strategy tonight compared to Riverside. Riverside, he was very much limited to having to push as hard and as far as he can go, and then had to pit the moment he needed fuel, just to splash and dash. But this time, Van der Geest has got a nice little option. He's got a buffer blanket to the cars behind him, and I think we will see him use that buffer blanket. I don't think he'll push all the way to the end of this fuel. If he does, I'm expecting him to come down in the next 15 minutes. If he doesn't come down until 10 minutes to go, he is really pushing that car hard. I can't see him doing that with the buffer he's got. It's a real big risk to push that long. Fine is a splash and dash right at the end. He doesn't need a splash and dash. He can take a nice, gentle pit stop and just try and take it as smooth as he comes without any risk. Just go smoothly to the end of his race, and he will win. Unless he makes a mistake, he's won this race. He just needs to keep it together for the final 20 minutes. And I mean, we are almost 2/3 of the way through. Tonight's event is just flying by. We're almost 40 minutes through. Yet to see a retirement. Steve is almost up a position. May I point this out? Carl Steve started. He was 2 laps behind everyone as he came out onto the track. That is because the formation lap was counted, of course, as a racing lap. He then came out 1 lap after the race officially started, so he was 2 laps down technically. He's had a pit stop since then, which put him 3 laps down, but Schenko is also 3 laps down. Steve has already done a pit stop. Milliken's done a pit stop as well. Larry Thomas is yet to do one. I think we may see Steve move up to be number 9 by the end of this race, and that would be absolutely great to see. That will give him 20 points, not 18. So it will give him that additional 2 points, which sounds like it's not too much, but that is actually quite important. Heading through now up towards the final chicane is Talvitti. Position change for Schenko and Milliken. Now I said, I think Steve can get past Schenko. If he can get past Schenko, he can get past Milliken as well. There's Milliken. Where is he? He is fine about half a lap down. He's got some time to really push to try and catch up. I think he can do it. We're going to watch this battle for P2. Here is Pablo Fanotti. That car just behind, that is Tony Talvitti. This is second and third. Fanotti, he won your opening race. He's running a full load of 30 kilogram ballast right now. Talvitti, no ballast on board his car, and a pit stop in hand to Fanotti, depending on whether we need to see Fanotti and Van der Geest down pit lane. Like I said, the pit stops are mandatory. It's whether the drivers need to pit. It's going to be the question of, are they able to save enough fuel? Fanotti must be pushing very hard right now to try and keep up with Travitti's pace, but he's not been able to. This gap has closed. First of all, Finotti's lost about 6 or 7 seconds on Van der Geest since Travitti pitted about 10 minutes ago. Travitti has closed up about 6 or 7 seconds on Finotti since he pitted about 6 or 7 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago. How long ago did he pit? About 7 or 8 minutes ago, didn't he? Didn't pit exactly halfway. We saw a changeover. No, we saw a postman. All over the end is Travitti though. He is looking for the position past Finotti. He's got to think. Finotti's not technically in my race. We're on 2 different strategies, but if he doesn't pit, I've got to get past him, pushing slightly wide there. Just pile on the pressure onto Finotti, because this track is very easy to make mistakes, and that's exactly what's happened. Finotti's on slightly wide, Travitti's bit to the inside, caught a little bit of the grass, the driver's gone off in the background. Travitti still all over the rear under Finotti here. We're riding on board with Travitti in a really good exit. Finotti's really hindered on the exit there. Moves across to the right to defend. Travitti can't get the inside line. Has to back out of it for now. They're slowing each other down. They're allowing Van der Geest to catch up behind. Where is Van der Geest on track, by the way? He is the next car on track. So he is about to lap everyone in this race. Car down pit lane. That is Carl Steele. Oh, he's back down the pit lane for, I think, the 3rd time tonight. Might be the 2nd. It's a shame to see Steele down pit lane. But he is, like I said, at least he's still going to get 10th, and that is 18 points to put his name. He will get past the number of guys who won't take the part. Very slow exit by Finotti. A really good run by Travitti in the only Mercedes is Finotti. Mazda in 3rd of Travitti, but Finotti trying his hardest. Championship leader right now in P2. I mean, P3 isn't too bad. Like I said, he's still holding the championship lead over Van der Geest. This is Travitti's first race of the championship, so it's not going to affect Finotti too much out of the 2nd round, but it could affect him in Van der Geest standing. He's going to want to hold and defend that 2nd position. Still all over the rear of Finotti is Travitti. There is Van der Geest. He is closing up to this battle. The blue flag will be waving very shortly. Van der Geest is about to lap the entire field as we've got less than 20 minutes to go here into the final chicane. This battle for P2 goes Finotti into pit lane. He's not going to try and hold up his teammate Van der Geest there into the pit, pulls Finotti. Travitti into 2nd. Where will Finotti come out? Will he have a nice quick shot, or will it be a rather long one? He's in, I think, the final pit stall, so he'll get going and get straight out on track. There you go, he's going once more. The smoke kicks up. Finotti on track. And he's back on. He is a lap behind Van der Geest now, but Travitti is about to fall a lap down as well. Blue flags will be waving for Tony Travitti in P2 because he's got the race leader, John Van der Geest, just behind Travitti. Has got to let Van der Geest through. There goes the race leader past Travitti. Van der Geest has lapped the entire field in tonight's event as they come on through. Fantastic job there. Who is this? Postman all over the rear. Who is all over the rear? This is Carl Steen. So it is most of the time it is just drivers now. There's not too many people close to each other. It's drivers just trying to keep it together, limit their mistakes as we come up to the final quarter of this race, come up to the final 15 minutes. We are yet to see John Van der Geest down pit lane. We're yet to see Johnny Gutierrez down pit lane. We're yet to see Nigel Middleton down pit lane. They are the 3, I believe. We haven't seen. I know Van der Geest definitely hasn't. I'm not 100% certain about Gutierrez or Middleton, but I don't think either of them have yet come down pit lane in this race. When are they going to? Because I think they will have to. Everyone's pit apart from them. I just can't believe that everyone else is going to pit and those 3 cars are going to eat. So I believe we will see Gutierrez, Middleton down pit lane soon, and Van der Geest as well from the race. He's got a whole lap in hand though. He can have as long a pit stop as he wants, as long a pit stop as he feels comfortable with. I think he's going to be able to keep that lead very nice and easy. Like I said, unless there's a mistake, Mandigis is going to win here. And we saw that pace coming off of round number 1 at Riverside. He was involved in that first lap incident. He fell a lap down. He was last position and had to pit off the opening lap. But what was amazing to see was the fact that he was able to get into number 4 overall coming onto the race. 15 minutes left to go on the clock right now. We're into the final quarter of an hour. It's crunch time. Push as hard as you possibly can for whatever position you possibly can. But most cars, they're at least 10 seconds behind someone else. The gaps between everyone is crazy. It is really, this track has turned out to be just try and not make mistakes. It's Van der Geest still at the top, Talbot's second, Finotty third. What it's been for most of this race. Talbot and Finotty, the two drivers on the podium who have already pitted. Gutierrez is the only man not on the podium who's only one lap down. Most of the field has been lapped at least 2 times. Middleton, Postma, Thomas all a lap down. Ashenko and Milliken 3 laps down. Carl Steve was 4 laps down, following 2 pit stops, I believe, by Steve. Plus, he was 2 laps down off the start of this race, starting in pit lane. I mean, that means if he didn't actually start from pit lane full 2 laps down, he probably could be 6th or 5th position right now. So it was a shame he wasn't able to make the start, but all's well that ends well. He still get some good points here, and we'll go into Pekerniki next month, and hopefully he'll be able to do it quite nice. Gutierrez now down pit lane from P number 4. And that means it's just Middleton and Van der Geest to make stops. I believe Middleton hasn't come down pit lane anyway. I think everyone else has apart from Van der Geest and Middleton though. But there goes John Van der Geest, your race leader, is down pit lane to a stop now in the garage. Will Middleton come down pit lane as well? Or will he be the man to go the longest on a stint? Let's see. Van der Geest still at a stop right now from the lead of your race. Talvitti, I believe, has just taken his lap back. Out heads Van der Geest onto the track. Talvitti has taken his lap back from Van der Geest. So has Finotti. So there is Talvitti out of turn number 3, I think that was. Finotti here coming out of turn 1. So he is in fact a lap down because Van der Geest was just ahead of him out of the track. So only Talvitti still on the race lead, and I think Van der Geest is going to be able to close that door quite nicely and catch up to Talvitti and be able to lap the entire field, which is a feat that Finotti could not achieve at Riverside. So it's a feat that Van der Geest may be able to. So Gear won the opening round of the championship with Pablo Finotti. Will Gear win the second round with John Van der Geest? It looks like they will. And John Van der Geest will then be placed with the heavy car. 30 kilograms will be on board his car for Pekerniki next month. And Pablo Finotti will be with 40 kilograms if he holds on to 3, which looks like it's going to remain that way as we're coming up to the final 10 minutes of the race. That is all that is remaining. We're driving the race for almost 50 minutes now. We've only got 10 to go. Van der Geest leading the way ahead of Talvitti. Finotti in third, the first man a lap down. Gutierrez in 4th position. Middleton in 5th. Posner in 6th. 7th is Carl Thomas. Ashenko in 8th, Milliken in 9th, and Steve is 10th. Talvitti then, during that pit stop phase, since Talvitti stopped to Van der Geest stop, the gap before the pit stop was 15 seconds, after the pit stop was 36 seconds. So a total of around 20 seconds was lost by Talvitti during that pit stop stage. But actually, you know, the gap is rather, I say small, but smaller than I was That's about half a lap between Van der Gies and Talbot. I don't think that's enough for Van der Gies to be able to lap Talbot. That's only 10 minutes to go in this race. Unless Tony Talbot makes a big mistake here from P2, it looks like he will be finishing on the lead lap. Only one of two drivers to do so as we head into the final 10 minutes of this race. We have a battle for 6th and 7th position. That is just behind Talvitti on track. It's Larry Thomas behind Roll Postma. They are battling out for P6 in this race. I think we may have already seen Middleton down pit lane, you know, because he's still out on track with 10 to go. And Postma here, just a couple of tenths between them as they come through and right on board with Thomas. He looks to the right hand side of Postma. You can see Talbot just ahead of them. That'll really be helping Postma to keep the pace, to keep the racing line similar to that of drivers at the top. John Van der Gies just put in the fastest lap of the race here, 107.285 with less than 10 minutes to go. It shows that he is still pushing. He hasn't been 5 seconds in the past 1.5 minutes. Now what? Pulling away from the 6th and 7th battle, it shows he's probably not on the same pace that he was at the opening stages of this race and before his pit stop. It just doesn't seem as consistent as he was to hold on to a 15 seconds. Thomas drops completely off his post for that, out of the final chicane. This is one of the closest battles on track, and hopefully Thomas will be able to get back on board the rear of Postma and start to fight between the two of them as they head on through. It's on the track right now. 8.5 minutes to go. Van der Gies continues to move. Looking at how many points will Van der Gies have to his name after this as he puts in yet another fast lap of 106.678. That is fantastic. That's a whole half a second, even faster than half a second than his previous personal best. He's really pushing right now, and I think he's really going to try and lap the entire field. He is just flying in the lead of the race right now. John Van der Gies finished 4th in the opening round, 30 points. He's going to be on 70 points come end of this round if he finishes here. Like I've been saying, if Finotti finishes 3rd, he will hold on to the championship lead out of round number 2 because he did win the opening round. Van der Gies will be in 2nd by 3 points. He'll be 3 points behind, but those two will have pulled out quite a substantial lead in the championship. Bearing in mind, we don't see Bobby Volkanov or David Ricciardi taking part there in 2nd and 3rd in the championship, or even Joan Remmers in 5th. Happily Finotti and John Van der Gies are the only two drivers in the top 5 from round number 1 and in the championship standings right now, taking part here at round number 2. 7 minutes remaining on the clock. How many more laps is that? I'm thinking about 5. We've already ran 44 laps. John Van der Gies is on his 45th competitive lap here. It's technically the 46th lap because that formation lap is counted as a racing lap. It's counted towards the hour of racing as well. But it's the 45th competitive lap right now. Back marker just causing John Van der Gies some issues, but he continues to push out in the lead right now as he's continuing to pull a gap on Talvitti, who's only just crossed the start-finish line. He has increased the gap between himself and Talvitti by 10 seconds in the past 5 minutes. He can increase that gap to Talvitti to about 55 seconds by the end of this race, but he needs it to be about 1 minute and 10, nothing less. As that is actually Denis Ashenko really trying to fight with Van der Gies. I don't know why he was trying to fight with your race leader, but it was almost getting what he deserved there, pushing it too hard in turn 1. I don't know why he decided to fight with the race leader, almost going for an overtake through the turn 1. Understandable that he wants the lap back, but you don't fight it if you're not faster. He was not faster. Van der Geest is clearly the fastest man on track right now with a 106.6. The next fastest driver on track with a 107.7. Surprisingly is Carl Stieg. Stieg is the second fastest man on track. Then it's Tony Tarvati. Then it's Johnny Gutierrez. Then it's Roel Postma. Then it's Denis Shevchenko. Then it's Nigel Middleton. Then it's Pablo Finotti. Then it's Larry Thomas. And finally it's Rob Milliken. Pablo Finotti, the third slowest driver out there. It's also showing to see that Steve is second fastest, because that's moving on hot lap pace. So one lap in a race that is currently 47 laps long, it's nothing. And by the end of this race, I think we'll be pushing it up to about 51 laps completed. Competitive laps anyway completed. Like I said, that opening lap, not a competitive racing lap. There's 46 laps have currently been completed in a competitive format. Van der Geest still leading. Nigel Middleton does come down pit lane. Then I knew that he didn't pit. He has come down pit lane with 4.5 minutes to go. He pushed it as far as he possibly could make it. He's going to come out of the pit. Is he going to lose position? Yes. Through goes Postma. Is someone else going to go? Yes. Through goes Thomas. If Middleton drops it from 5th to 7th. He really tried his hardest. Picked within the final 5 minutes of the race. But 55 minutes is one race stint. That's actually fantastic. And I think Van der Geest probably could have gone that. Maybe even further, but he is pushing very hard out front. He's probably burning a lot more fuel than Nigel Middleton was, which is why he came in a little bit earlier. Also, you want to come a little bit earlier. You don't want to go all the way to the end of the fuel. You might want to get like an undercut almost, just a jump. Just feel a little bit safer to come in a little bit earlier instead of having 0.1 into the fuel remaining in your tank when you actually finally come to a stop in your pit box. But it looks like Van der Geest is going to easily take tonight's victory. Talviti looks like hold on to pit number 2. This is the closest fight right now on track. I can't really call it a fight, can I? 5th and 6th position, Postma and Thomas as they come through. That was what Middleton off the circuit just off the post. Thomas, it's not a fight, but it is about 4 seconds between them, so it is two of the closest cars on track as we enter final 3 minutes of this race. We are going to be heading up towards the end of the race now. We're going to watch this man here, Jean Van der Geest. He's had an absolutely great run, 48 laps he's led in this race of 48. He has not lost the lead. He pulled it away straight at the start, a really good start compared to Riverside, where he was involved in that accident out at the final turn, starting in Q3. He fell to the rear of the grid and a lap down with a pit stop off of the opening lap. Van der Geest this time will be the most dominant car out on that track. Even though he had that incident last time, he got the 4th. This means that the win here is going to put him 2nd in the championship. Finotti holding on to P3 is going to hold him in the lead of the championship, but will put even more ballast on his car in the next round. It'll knock him up to 40 kilos of ballast. He's currently on 30. Van der Geest will get 30 kilos for the next round, and Talviti will be on 20 kilos as well for the next round, which we will be seeing heading across the Canada high-speed ring on July the 7th. You'll catch that in a couple of weeks' time, so hit the follow button to be notified when we do go live with those events. Van der Geest continuing to head on through then in the lead, 50 seconds over Talviti. That's a big gap, but it's not going to be enough to pull a lap on every single driver on the track, which is a shame, but it's still not a bad race at all from Van der Geest, showing such confidence. Next lap will be the final lap of this race, so Van der Geest coming around on the penultimate lap right now, because it will take him at least a minute and 6 seconds to get around the track. That's the minute and 6, which means that the race will be over next time around as Van der Geest leads your way. He's got a number of cars ahead. About 5 or 6 cars leading in front of the track. One of them jumping off the track there to try and get out of the way. That's Nigel Middleton jumping off the circuit to get out of the way, not cause any issues for John Van der Geest as they head across the timing line up towards the checkered flag. Van der Geest on the final lap of the race. He was on pole position. He's led every single lap. It's going to be 51 competitive racing laps. John Van der Geest from flag to flag, from pole to checkered with a pit stop as well. 10 seconds left to go on the clock. This is the final lap of the race. John Van der Geest, he's going to be so happy that he's able to get the podium. He's able to get the pole, the win, the fastest lap of the race, a 106.678, matched by nobody, over a second faster than anyone else. John Van der Geest comes up to the final turn, 2 turns here on the last lap, the final lap, the final turn. John Van der Geest wins here at Goodwood for round number 2 of the Group C Honey Jar Series. Milliken crosses the line just behind him, P9. Nigel Middleton is out of fuel by the look of it on the last lap of the race. Tony Talvetti is going to take P2 in this race. Vanotti, though, he comes around the final turn. He's going to take 3rd. Yeah, Nigel Middleton is out, probably hoping someone gives him a little bit of a nudge to get around the rest of the lap. But Tony Talvetti up towards the final turn. He's going to take P2 in this race. Vanotti holds the lead in the championship with that result, though. Middleton, he retires on the last lap, finishes P8, but Salvetti crosses the line to take 2nd. We're just waiting on Postma, who runs wide on the final chicane, and Thomas behind that as well. But Postma's going to take 5th, Larry Thomas in 6th. A real shame Middleton retired on the last lap, but a great job from Van der Geest. As what a race that has been once more. I absolutely love these events, and that is one of the reasons why, is because drivers can just so dominate the rest of the field, and that's exactly what happened there. It was so dominant running there from John Van der Geest, and he has done a very good job of getting full amounts of points. Of course, that will mean that he will go onto the heaviest ballast with 30 kilograms onto his car come the end of next round. But John Van der Geest taking the win in his Porsche, a total time of 1 hour and 23 seconds. John Van der Geest getting that fastest lap of the race then in his number 7 machine. Tony Talvetti will take P2, 52 seconds off of Van der Geest, and Pablo Finotti will take P3, 1 lap down. Johnny Gutierrez finished in 4th, 2 laps down. Roel Postma in 5th, also 2 laps down, and Larry Thomas in 6th as well, 2 laps down. Denis Shashenko finished in 7th, 3 laps down. Nigel Middleton retiring on the final lap of the race. 45 seconds left until the hour mark on my clock. It's a 59 minutes and 15 seconds. But that, of course, is not too true. He did retire after the time ended. Wasn't quite able to make that last lap. Probably wasn't expecting to go that additional lap. Nigel Middleton retiring on the final lap of the race in 8th. Rob Milliken will finish 9th, 4 laps down. Carl Stieg finishes 10th, also 4 laps down. Absolutely fantastic, though. Having a look here, that means Pablo Finotti will have 73 points after the opening, after the second round of the championship. John van der Geest will have 70 points and be 3 laps behind. Who will be third in championship? I think that will be Johnny Gutierrez, who will have a total of 59 points. There will be 11 points between second and third after round number 2. Only 3 points between third and second. I mean, we're only 2 rounds down. We've got 8 rounds in this championship. That's 6 more to go. The next round is going to be Pikerni High Speed Ring. That's on July the 7th. You guys can sign up for that one as well by heading across to simracingonline.co.uk. We've got a fantastic 18 cars signed up, so be sure to get involved in that one. But absolutely fantastic racing once more. Well done to John van der Geest for such a dominant run. We knew he was fast. He did a really good race run. Bearing in mind, he did have to pit straight at the start. The fact that he was then able to take 4th in the end. Tonight, he just showed his worth. And he showed why he is the man. Because he just won so dominantly. And that has got to have a positive outlook on the rest of the season for him. But, of course, the weight penalty is definitely going to play into a factor. John van der Geest will now be on 30 kilograms of ballast. Tony Talvitti will be on 20 kilograms of ballast. Pablo Finotti will still be the heaviest car out next time. He'll be on 40 kilograms of ballast. John van der Geest then will be the next one. I don't think that's going to affect John van der Geest much. I mean, 30 kilograms of ballast, I think that will knock him down, what, about 30 seconds at most? I think he's still going to have a nice dominant run. It depends on where he qualifies. What we saw the opening round, he qualified in 3rd, and that caused him to be in an accident out of the final turn. This time, van der Geest, he qualified on that pole position, and he made it work. He led every single lap. 51 competitive racing laps, 52 laps total. John van der Geest led every single one from flag to flag. Tony Talvitti did a fantastic job, though, in 2nd position to hold that off. New to the series, joining here in round number 2. And he did a great job to take P number 2 in his Mazda. Pablo Finotti, the only Mercedes driver, the heaviest car and the only car with ballast out there today with 30 kilograms of ballast. He did a good job to get that podium position, and he's held off his championship lead right now by 3 points ahead of John van der Geest. But be sure to head over to simracingonline.co.uk to check out the standings once they go up in the next couple of days, and also sign up for the rest of the season as well. We shall see you then on the 7th of July. A big shout out to all those involved once more then, to Flying Crowbar Racing and Virtual Racing Engineer 2018 for sponsoring the series. Also a big shout out to Andrew Harper for throwing together this skin pack with the custom Sim Racing Online racing numbers and windscreen banner. Also a big thank you to Alternative Streaming Network to be bringing this event to you as well. But of course, the biggest shout out to simracingonline.co.uk for organising and hosting tonight's event. Thank you very much for joining us here at Goodwood. We will see you next time out then for round number 3 at Pikerni High Speed Ring on Saturday, July the 7th, 2018 at 8 p.m. BST for another hour of racing. We will see you then. Thank you very much for joining us once again. Thank you very much and goodbye.